Hello, this is Jessica from the future here, coming to you live-ish from Tromsø, Norway. I am in the Arctic Circle, above. Either way, I'm in Norway, and even though I'm on vacation as a content creator, sometimes you gotta work while you're on a vacation, and so I'm taking time to work on some videos right now. And of course, I will be vlogging this trip. So I usually vlog all of my trips, and even though a lot of people maybe don't watch them because I am not a great vlogger, they're great memories to look back on for Andrew and I. I used to want to be a full-time travel vlogger, and that is no longer my aspiration, but I do occasionally look for tips and tricks to make my vlogs better for those who do view them. So enter today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that has thousands of classes for people who want to explore their creativity, maybe start a new skill, explore and work on improving an existing skill. I use Skillshare for many things, like tips on video production and editing. There's a class from everyone, starting with beginner, intermediate, advanced, from various links. They have some as short as 15 minutes, some that are multiple hours. And Skillshare also recommends classes based on other things you've taken. And so I was on Skillshare looking for travel vlogger tips and tricks, and they recommended me a familiar face, and it was Carrie from Carrie Cakes, who also has a booktube channel called Carrie Can Read. And so I was like, oh, let me click on this. So if you watch Carrie's channel, you know that her vlogs are outstanding. And so I was like, yes, I could learn from her. So one of my favorite things I learned from this class was the part where she mentioned about breaking the action in vlogs. So vlogs don't have to be nonstop action where exciting things are constantly happening. She mentioned adding in moments of regular life or downtime into vlogs as a way to increase your authenticity, because that's normal life. Sometimes you are out having fun in the daytime and then you come back and you're chilling on the couch in the middle of the afternoon. So she said adding things like this to your vlog, that people, it just, makes you feel relatable, makes your vlog feel authentic. So I usually leave those parts out. And while my vlogs will not be on her level, I will be implementing this tip to see if that just creates a better story, a better flow for the rest of our trip in Norway. Uncle Jams. Material girl. Every single week you wonder why your ass don't dance. You wonder why. My mind is a constant cycle of TikTok sounds. That's all it is. Everything else has left the building. Oh, am I too loud for you? Oh my God, am I too loud for you? I was Josh Softy's muse on Uncut Jam. If any of this sounds interesting to you, if you have something you want to start, maybe check out Skillshare. Maybe something you've already started on and want to perfect it, check out Skillshare. So if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description, you can get a month of Skillshare Premium for free. So you can take as many courses as you like to find out what kind of classes and instructors work best for you. And then maybe see if you'd like to continue Skillshare on your own. But again, the first 1,000 people who click the link in my description get a month of Skillshare Premium for free. You should check it out. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. But now back to past Jessica, who is having a good old time cracking up at all of the peeves that burns people's biscuits. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and we are here for Bookish Pet Peeves Part 2. I'm reacting to one that you sent me, or some of these I have added from the comments under the first one. I'll link that down below if you didn't see the first one, that people were talking about in the comments, ones I didn't get to, and the last video was a lot of fun. I'm so glad so many people enjoyed that. So I did have some more, so I wanted to share them. And one of them is so funny because it definitely applies to me. They called me out in the comments and they said people who put their book series 3, 2, 1 on a shelf but not 1, 2, 3. For example, let me zoom you in here. Actually, did I change it? Well, those are different. Now I might have moved it around because I did have these 1, 2, 3. Or is it? I don't know. I know people don't like how I put my shelves, so like here. Okay. This goes 1, 2, 3. Like this is go 1, 2, 3, and I also have 1, 2, 3. But I guess maybe they're going from left to right, so it's 3, 2, 1. I know people do. People don't like that, but I don't care. You do what I want, okay? If you don't like it, I'm so sorry. You're just gonna have to deal with it here on my channel because I put my books how I like. But I've had multiple people comment that on my videos, so like you can comment it to your, you know, your heart's content, but I'm not gonna change it unless I want to. Another one was paperback step backs. Yes, step backs are so dumb. How much money are you saving? What is the point of this? And this one is just like, this has, you know, blurbs for it, and it's just this little thing. But I did see on some, they'll have this and it'll just be like yellow or something, about New York Times bestseller. Bitch, I don't care. Get it off my book. Give me the full cover. I really hate it. It's just, it's so dumb. I hate the paperback step back. So I feel you. I feel you on that one. Rating books on Goodreads before they're released. Now, obviously, rating books, whatever, like at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. But it is weird. It is very weird when people do that, especially like, mostly because it's their favorite author and they'll just go ahead and put it 5 stars. But also the people who go and 1-star review a book because they don't like the author, don't like what they think is going to be in their book or whatever. Rating a book before you read it is weird to me. It's weird. And people do that when a book is just announced. Like, I remember Six of Crows 3 got put on Goodreads and everyone's like, 5 stars. I'm like, you haven't read it. And after reading some of the other Leigh Bardugo books, do we know it's gonna be 5 stars? We don't. So I hate that too. I really don't like it. And in that same vein, rating your favorite author's books 5 stars. So I have this friend, I'm not gonna name her here, but she knows who she is, who loves Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom like many of us do, and then read King of Scars, hated King of Scars, and was like, it really deserved a 2, but I gave it a 5 because it's Leigh Bardugo. What? Let me move my bang. What? That makes no sense to me. If it was a 2 star, it's getting 2 stars, which King of Scars did get 2 stars. It got 2 stars. I was not like, well, did I just snort? I was not like, well, I love this other author's other books, so you get 5 stars. No, you get 2 because that's what you deserved. And so this person said, reading your favorite author's books, all 5 stars. Like, they can still be your favorite author and you don't love one of their books. That's very suspect to me, and that makes me not trust you in your ratings. So yeah, that's weird. That's sus behavior to me. On the opposite, people who don't give 5 stars, which I feel like I don't know many people. I myself am stingy with 5 stars. I feel like there's people who give 5 stars to almost everything, and then apparently there's people who don't give 5 stars. Like, they're like, you will never get a 5 star from me. I haven't personally witnessed this, but that's interesting. That's very interesting if there's people who don't give those out. Again, ratings are, I don't want to say arbitrary, but kind of, you know? But yeah, I'm just more stingy with mine, right? You know, I don't just throw them out there. They're not Mardi Gras beads. Okay. What's that thing called? I don't know what that thing is called, but the person said the fact that people need to explain that opinions can differ before giving their opinion. What? No disclaimers tag. That's what I was thinking of. It is very annoying that you have to be like, this is just my opinion. If you love this book, I don't hate you. I don't think you're a terrible person. Like, I have done that. Like, this is for fun. Chill out. It is annoying because if you don't say those things, there's going to be somebody, at least one person, that's gonna be like, oh my God, you did not like my favorite book, so that means you just told me I'm the worst person on the planet. It doesn't work like that, but people do think it works like that. So I hate the disclaimers. Readers who think authors owe them something, like writing quickly or finishing series. That doesn't apply to George R.R. Martin, right? I know he doesn't owe me, but I just want the books. It's just 2 books. I don't think I'm asking for much, but yes, authors don't owe you anything. We did talk about this on a live on Heather's channel, and especially excluding George R.R. Martin, let's not talk about him, but people who maybe tag authors and like comments and stuff on Twitter, you know, asking for the next book, or you know, wanting the next in a series, like, why are you taking so long? And you know, authors have lives too. I know Scott Lynch, I believe is his name, who's the author of the, I can't think what they're called, but it's an adult fantasy series, and I think there's 3 books out, but it's supposed to be 7 books, and I'm interested to read them, but I personally don't want to read it until they're finished, because the author does suffer from depression, and that's valid. I can't imagine trying to write a book, period, and then try to write a book while you're battling depression. So yeah, they don't owe people anything besides, you know, respect if they're interacting with someone. But I do think some people get carried away with how we have social media now, and it feels like it took down this boundary, like this wall, which is great in some points. The way we have more access to our favorite authors, sometimes get interact with them, sometimes get to, you know, talk to them, interview them, but still need to be respectful and know that if they don't finish the series, they don't owe us to finish the series. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. People who don't read diversely, like top 10 books of the year, are all straight and white. This is not a new topic on the bookternet, and yeah, I mean, I think reading diversely, of course, is great to read from different people of different ethnicities and backgrounds from different parts of the world, which I definitely want to work on. People with different sexual orientations, different gender identities, you know, all these different religions even. But then also, I don't want to, and I don't think we need to be like reading police, to be like, what are you reading? What percentage is this? What percentage is that? At the end of the day, if people want to read books from authors who are different from their own experience, they're going to. At least, you know, start trying or start researching, start asking. And if they don't, they're not going to want to. And you trying to force them to do that is either they're just like going to ignore you, or it can lead to tokenization. And, you know, with them being like, I read The Hate U Give, back up off me. I read this one book. So yeah, I do think it's important, because you just get to learn about different perspectives and worldviews and build, you know, empathy and all of these things to make you this well-rounded person. Books are a way to do that, you know, from the comfort of your own home, to see different parts of the world and different cultures and all of that. But you can't make somebody, right? What is it? You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to waste my energy being like, what are you reading? What are you reading? What are you reading? I'll definitely recommend things like, hey, I read this really great book by such and such, you should read it. And I still have work to do, because like I've noticed that while I read a lot more romance last year, I didn't read, most of them were heterosexual relationships, and I would like to read more queer, sapphic romances. And I want to start trying to find books that are not by authors from like the West or, you know, the global North. And so that's still something I have to work on. So like, don't expect anyone to be perfect, but also just realize that some people are stuck in their ways and they're just gonna be like that. And I don't know if you can do anything to change it. So why waste your energy? I don't know. This person said, I don't know if this makes sense, but if I watch a booktuber and get a sense they buy more than they read, does that mean you like don't watch them, or you don't trust their, like, there wasn't a follow-up, so I don't know if that means that just annoys you in general, if you don't trust them or what. And you know, people do what they want with their money. I definitely buy a lot of books, but I feel like I definitely also read a lot. I don't know the numbers. I'm not gonna add it up to see how many books I'm reading versus buying. So I don't know if that was aimed at me, but you know, it's out my pocket, so. Oh, my favorite. She exhaled a breath she didn't realize she was holding. Is it a YA novel if this isn't there? Oh my gosh. But I will say, when I see it in a YA book, I usually just roll my eyes now. But when I see it in an adult novel, I feel personally attacked. I'm like, oh, how dare you follow me here? I left your raggedy ass behind over there, and you followed me here to my safe space. Doesn't happen often, but it has happened a few times, and I was like, wow, we're doing that here now? Okay. It's very ghetto to me. I hate it. I hate it so much. I just hate that line. I hate it. People who say you just didn't understand when you don't like a certain book. I feel like a lot of the times, for at least women or femmes on YouTube who read adult fantasy, this happens a lot. If you do not like a popular fantasy book, because all the internet dude bros will come into your comments and say you just didn't understand it. You didn't like Dune? You don't obsess over Brandon Sanderson? You don't like Steven Erikson? Well, you just didn't understand it. Your small little female brain couldn't handle the amazingness that is this man's book. Literally, the amount of things I have seen like that in my friends' comments when they have talked about, not even like a rant review, just certain things in a book they didn't like. And the dude bros come out of the woodwork to leave these comments or these essays. I mean, they're usually essays under their videos. Is ridiculous. But yeah, don't tell me. Now, sometimes I have read something and sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I fully understood such and such. Sometimes that happens in like nonfiction, or like I'm like, I want to go back and reread this, or maybe I didn't get it because maybe there was a cultural difference, and then that usually I'll just like go look for reviews from people from that, you know, experience. But reading a fantasy novel and someone tells you the exact reasons why they didn't like it, and then you tell them you didn't understand, ugh, like, get bent. I cannot stand that. It's very annoying. And so don't be one of those people. I know y'all are not, but don't be. Ooh, this is a good one. Understanding that you might not want to support an author, but other creators can decide differently. Yes. Yes. I'm trying to figure out how to say, because we definitely have become, and I've played into that before, where we're like, this author did this thing, so we shouldn't support them, we shouldn't read them. Here's a list of authors that have done X, Y, and Z. And every individual person, every individual reader, content creator, whatever, has to make that personal choice as to whether they want to spend their time, their money, you know, your energy, whatever. You're spending something, whether it's not this money, because you might get it from the library, so spending your energy. And then if you talk about it on your channel or on your Instagram, if you want to spend that time giving them space on your platform, you know, regardless of the size, all of that comes down to the creator. You have to decide if you want to do those things. And obviously there's some people who are like, well, if you read this book, you automatically hate this group of people. And I think that's very much making it very black and white, and like breaking down the situation way too simplistic. And I think collectively we've all agreed, right? Like, we're not showing or sharing, promoting Harry Potter. And then, because, you know, right now she's kind of like the queen at the problematic pile. She's like sitting on the top of that hill. But with other ones, everyone's own personal experiences, own personal beliefs are going to factor in differently to how they feel about this person was just rude on Twitter, or this person was bullying, or this person was, you know, appropriating different cultures. Like, there's all these different things that people are like, well, I don't know. And it may be wrong to you, but it may not feel wrong to them, and all of these different things. So I just really wish we could have more like just general respect for like, hey, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna read that book. I'm not gonna talk about that book. But if you do that, that's fine. And it doesn't have to be like I'm examining your shelves to judge you on what you have. I don't know. Ooh, someone says people who don't figure out how to pronounce an author's name is basic respect, and shows a lot of bias from English speakers and white creators. Ooh, I mean, fair point, fair point. Because I definitely usually will try to look up a pronunciation. I don't know if they're always valid pronunciation like things, but I usually do try to look it up. And then when I don't, I do feel really bad while recording if I don't know how to pronounce someone's name. So I never thought about it like that, and especially, you know, from an American or English perspective, when there's someone who are not, you know, and their name is not more, I don't want to say difficult, because I think it's been said many times on Twitter, but when people who are from various African countries, or maybe they're first generation in America, you know, their parents are Nigerian, and their parents want to give them, you know, a name that is Nigerian or Kenyan, and they have learned, you know, going through the American school system or whatever, they've shortened their name, or like, hey, just call me this to make it easier. And people are like, no, if people can pronounce, you know, Tchaikovsky, they can learn to pronounce your name. So it's like, yes, very fair. So I think that's a good point. When they hide the covers of the books they're going to talk about in their thumbnail. Well, I do that. If I do like a TBR or a haul, I always like do it spines out or like blur the. I feel like it adds to the allure. Like if you already know that my wrap up, if I only read 4 books and I put them on there, I don't know. Or maybe, okay, answer me this. If someone had a wrap up, say it was 6 books, and they had the 6 book covers on their thumbnail, but it was blurred, are you more likely to click on it if you know if it's not blurred or if it is blurred? Because to me, I'm like, oh, let me click on it and see what books you read. Or do people want to know exactly what books you read to see if they want to hear about them? I don't know, but I usually do that unless it's like, this is a specific review, then I definitely will have the book clear in the thumbnail. But if it's just like a haul or a TBR, especially to me a TBR, because I'm like, well, if I tell you what I'm gonna read, why are you gonna listen to me tell you what I'm gonna read? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I was like, what? I don't know. I think I'm a little different on that one. Oh my God, someone says when a booktuber uses a TBR game to choose their books, just be doing the most. I don't do them because I'm not creative and I rarely make TBRs anyway, but I watch a fair amount of TBR games and I think that it's amazing that people have so many different variations. I think they're fun to watch and it's really funny, especially when they like roll the dice or something and they get this huge number or they get like a certain category of book that they were like dreading. I don't know. I think they're fun and funny. They're not for me personally to do, but I enjoy watching them. But I mean, if that's fair if you don't, if you don't like it. People who review books but only give a summary and don't dive deeper, which is hard. I think a lot of people on BookTube, I'm putting this to BookTube and not like Instagram, but a lot of people on BookTube don't do like deep dive reviews unless they're on more popular books, because standalone reviews generally don't do as well as other videos unless, again, it's a popular book. Sometimes over time they will do better because somebody may look up that review and come back to it. So I understand that, but I can understand why, but also understand the frustration, because I also sometimes I'm like, dang it, I have all these confused thoughts about this book and I just like want to watch a video of somebody like breaking it down, and you don't always find that. And only if the YouTube, I understand chasing the algorithm or trying to work with the algorithm because it's such an enigma, who knows. But yeah, because I'm always like looking for like a detailed, spoiler-filled review, and it's hard to find. When people accept a bunch of arcs and never read or review them, you know, yeah, I don't, that one's hard. I don't get a lot of arcs, and I don't request a lot because I'm such a mood reader, and I don't know, I feel like it's hard. And to be fair, publishers do send unsolicited books to people sometimes, but some people do request a lot of arcs, you know, on NetGalley. They have the ratio, and some people just go request happy. But I do kind of understand, because it is supposed to be like promotion for the book before it comes out. So like reading it, talking about it before it comes out. But I don't want to say it's wrong if someone never does, but yeah. Ooh, and mediocre books are released in a million different editions. Such a cash grab. Yeah, they be getting us too. Okay, I think I'm towards the end. Ooh, someone said the hype for Hades and Persephone's retellings as if they're super original. I don't know if I've ever read one. I am not very familiar with Greek mythology in general. So like when people are like, oh, it's Hades and Persephone, that doesn't really mean much to me because I don't know the original myth. But I know that it is very popular. And so I don't really have an input on that. But I know that's a popular myth to retell. But this person is like, they're all the same. Reading a book from a perspective you're not familiar with and lowering your rating because of that. Yes. You can look at reviews of something that was like written by an indigenous author or black author, like I couldn't relate. Is that it? Not trying to tell people how to rate books, because obviously you could, maybe it was too slow with the pacing, maybe the writing style didn't work for you, maybe the tone, maybe your mood wasn't working with it. But when it's like a book and the culture or something is very much an integral part of the story, and that's like what you can't relate to or don't like, and you like dock points from a book from that, it's like For example, I read The Only Good Indian by Stephen Graham Jones. And there were certain things I was like, I'm not getting this because I'm not Indigenous. And so I read and watched other Indigenous reviewers, reviews. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense with that. And they weren't to do with like the plot of the story or like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's just, I don't know if people always notice that they're doing that when they're talking about a book and saying like, I can't relate, or they don't like this certain aspect, because just because it's by a marginalized author does not mean you have to love the book. Like, you don't have to do that. But I do think it's important, especially maybe if it's something wholly new, like maybe you've read a lot of books by queer authors or Black authors, but now you're reading something by someone who is from the Muslim faith or something like that for your first time. And I don't know, it could just be helpful, I think, to take a minute and maybe think like, did I not like it because of this, or was it just not the story for me? I don't know. It's very complicated. I feel like somebody else could explain it that way better, but it's a very important thing, I think. Reading a sequel without reading the previous books and then giving the book a low rating. This came up in like a CommuniTEA last year where there was like, she was like a legit reviewer, like she reviewed for magazines and stuff, and she rated this book low, I'm pretty sure, because she didn't read the book before. And she's like, I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. And it wasn't one of those like crime fiction where you could just like jump in. Like, it was like you need to read book 1 and then read book 2 fantasy novel. And was like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. She didn't tell me she didn't catch me up to speed. Excuse? Ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. I was shocked when I saw that because I'm like, who does that? Apparently people do it. It's very weird. It's very odd. I don't even love doing that in a romance, even if they're like standalone stories, because you know, there's usually always just a little bit of something. And for the most part, if I find out something is serious, I usually try to start at the beginning. Unless, you know, someone's like, those weren't really great, you could just start here. But I would never go pick up Oathbringer and then be like, oh my God, 1 star, because I don't know what's going on because I didn't read the first 2 books.
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Something's missing. And my last one, which I'm gonna take a sip of water because I got a lot to say about this one. Book resellers. Now, this isn't everybody, because I'm here for people, you know, making a little coin, buying a pretty edition. Maybe you did get 2 copies. Maybe you don't want it anymore. Maybe the author did something you didn't like and you want to get rid of it. Maybe you do want it and you just want to make a little extra money. I am not knocking nobody's hustle or anything like that. My problem is a few things. One, when something just came out, like they just got the box, or they just pre-ordered the box and they go to these Facebook groups like the I'll Crate, Buy, Sell, Trade, Illumicrate, whatever. And not to say that all of these stories are fake, but I'm thinking a lot of them are. And they're like, oh, I just have to get rid of this box. I just got it in the mail, or I just bought it yesterday and I have to get rid of it because I'm falling on hard times. So even though I bought this box for $80, I have to sell it for $650. And yes, my dog did take a bite out of the book, but not willing to take any offers. People do that. People will do that. Something will sell out, and then immediately after it's sold out, they're already putting it up on these sites and like tripling, quadrupling the price. I hate it. I hate it so much. Or like a single book, and it's up on eBay for like $700. Again, I want people to make a little change. So maybe you bought the book for $50 and my spine look like that. You bought the book for $50, you put it up for $100, $125, a special edition. But the price gouging is obscene. It's obscene. And I don't know if people, because so Andrew's very much into sneakers, and if you are into sneakers and like trying to get new releases, you know it's very difficult. And a lot of people have like bots that go on there and buy things up so the regular people don't get them. I don't know if people are doing that with books. But it is so frustrating because there's already a limited number, and if you were fortunate enough to be able to try for it, to have the money, it's just really sad when it's like something you really wanted, because some people don't buy every single special edition. They save up their money and they get something they really love, or try to get something they really love. And then here's this person who's like, oh, well, I don't even want it. I'm just gonna buy it and then sell it for 7 times the price. And I have seen some on these websites that are literally ragged, or they've got like, they're damaged and they want like $500 for this. I'm like, so I remember I didn't get the Poppy War set, which I've regretted, but I'm getting someone to spray my edges on my Poppy War books anyway for cheaper, and I think the art looks better. Whatever. Anyway, I didn't get the Poppy War set, and I think it was from Illumigray, and I was feeling regret. And I saw somebody post it on Facebook, and I swear, I don't know how much the box cost. Let's say the box, after shipping and the conversion and everything, let's say the box was $150. Just saying, I don't know the price, I don't remember. This person had it for like $500, and one of the books was like damaged. And I was like, you must be out of your goddamn mind. So yeah, book resellers like that, when you have the intent to sell it for so much more, is trash to me. And just stop making up your fucking story and just say, I'm just trying to make a lot of money. Do you want this or not? Just say it with your chest. Just be real about it. Don't lie. Oh, makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. But I think that's it. I, again, had fun hearing these pet peeves. Some I agreed with, you know, some things I did. So I'm so sorry if that bothers you. I'm not gonna change. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you didn't watch part 1, I'll have that linked down below, but that's it. So give this video a thumbs up, think about subscribing, check out my description. I always have lots of information there, ways to find me on the internet, ways to support my channel. So stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreened, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.